Hey y'all, welcome to the Filling Station. It's a new day, another opportunity to either make money in this market or to just learn from the market. But first, let me give my disclaimer. I am not a financial advisor. I just enjoy teaching people how to build generational wealth. And yes, the stock market is just one of those avenues. So this video is for educational purposes only. But if you could please like, share, comment, subscribe, y'all. We learn and we grow together. With that being said, let's get started. So we are looking at the SPY, and as we see here, we closed at 620.68. Ooh, the SPY bounced off of a 617 low, 617.87, only to go sideways here at this 619 area. It seems like we moved up a little bit, only to continue to this sideways movement here around the 620 area, 620.46. Looks like we've been having trouble here at the 621.68. That's a concern, right? So is this going to bring us back to the downside, or are we going to break through this and move back to the upside? That's the question, right? That's why it's important that we trade what we see. So where are the trouble places for the SPY as of right now? So we know that 621.68 is a trouble place. Why? We've been there for a while, right? So if we should break that level, we still have 621.98, which is kind of like the low of this candle here and the high of these candles here, kind of, right? The body of this candle here. So if we break this level here around the 621.98, we could still have trouble again somewhere around, let's say, the 622.46, breaking that 622.46, we could possibly have trouble again somewhere around the 622.85. And as you see here, the ATR trailing stop and a level that I have marked here, there's probably going to be some, or could be, let me say it that way, right? Could be some strong resistance for the SPY at the 622.99 area. Now, breaking that, we could possibly have trouble again, 623.25, and breaking that level somewhere around the 623.50 and the 623.95. Now, breaking the 623.95, we could very well come back to around 624.51, and breaking that 624.51, looks like we could possibly have trouble 624.90. Now back to the downside. If by chance we break under, let's say, this level here around the 621.12, price is just, yes, around the 621.12 area. If we break that, we could very well come back to 620.66. Breaking that level, we can come back to around 620.46, 621.29. Breaking that level, we could very well come back to around the 620.02, which is not far from the 200 EMA as of now, 619.95. And breaking that brings us back to around 619.75, not far away. So could this be a strong support area for us? If we should lose this area, we could very well come back to the 619.39. And as you can see, that's where we were for a while here. So it will be a concern if we broke that level today, that 619.39 area. Should we break that, we have another layer right up under that at 619.25, not far away, 619.05, and again 618.86. Now breaking this 618.86, we could very well come back down to the 618.25. Keep in mind, we could very well get stopped out anywhere in between, this layer of 618.86 and this layer here of 618.25. So if the SPY is something that you trade today, I say trade carefully. And yes, Tesla is a little bit congested, y'all. So if looking at Tesla, we closed at 293.94, and as we see here, we were moving sideways. We moved up kind of like the SPY, moved up just a little bit only to go sideways, right? So looks like we've been finding support here at this 296.88. Now, where are the trouble places? The resistance is somewhere around this area here at 298.50. So 298.50 down to the 296.88 is really the zone that Tesla is trading in thus far. Now, keep in mind, this is pre-market, and when the bell rings, anything is possible. So where are the trouble places as of now? The 298.50, should we break that, we see the ATR trailing stop and a level that I have marked here around the 299.75, 299.92. So that is, in my opinion, going to be a strong resistance area here for Tesla. Now, should we break the $300.22 area, we could very well have trouble again, 301.12, breaking that level, 302.30, and if we should break that, 302.79, 303.29, and again at 304. 29 and we break the 304.29, we can have trouble again somewhere around the 305.01, which is a 200 EMA as of now on this 30-minute chart. Breaking that level, we could possibly have trouble 305.54 and again 307.04. So if you're trading Tesla to the upside, those are possible rejection areas. Now let's look to the downside. If by chance, we break under, let's say, this level here around the 296.88, we could come back to 296.03 again here at 295.30. There's a few layers of support here down to the 294.74, which is this zone here that we were trading it down here. If we break this area, we could very well come back to around 293.98. That's where the body of these candles are here, 293.98. Breaking that level, we can come back to 293.50, and if we break that level, I have 292.72. Breaking that brings us back to around this level of 291.83. And should we break that, we can come back to around 291.39. Breaking that, you see price was at this area. We bounced here a few times right up under that 291.11. So 291.39, 291.11 is a support area in my opinion. Breaking that, we can come back to this level here. Well, there's one here. Breaking that level, 290.51 and 289.73. So if you're trading Tesla today, those are possible areas to the upside and to the downside. And y'all know I say it so often, in this market, anything is possible. So we are now looking at Meta. We closed at 718.35. It was trading sideways here. Yes, it moved up to this area here of 723.81 only to get rejected and come back down here. So where are the trouble places, for Meta as of right now? The 722.15 could be kind of like a resistance area. So should we break this level, we could very well come back to around 723.05, and breaking that level, we can possibly have trouble 723.81, breaking the 723.81, 725.15, and should we break that, 725.46. As you see here, that's the ATR trail and stop and a level that I have marked not very far away. So in my opinion, this could be a strong area of resistance, 725.15. So should we break that, just keep in mind we could possibly, come back to this area. Something stopped us at the 726.04. Breaking that area, something stopped us at the 727 area here. So those are possible rejection areas. Again, breaking that 727, I have 727.77, and again here at 729.14. So if you're trading Meta today, those are possible rejection areas today. Now back to the downside. Let's say we break under 721.35. We could very well come back to around, let's say, 720. Let me go back to that. If we break under 720.70, if we break under the 720.70 area, we could very well have trouble at the 720. And if we break the 720 area, we can come back to around the 719.24. And breaking that brings us back to around 718.63. If we break that level, we could very well come back to around 717.81. And if we break that, 717.04, breaking that 717.04, we could very well come back to around 716.55 and have some trouble here. Something held us up here. So breaking that level, we could very well come back to somewhere around, let's say, the 715.99, and then I have here marked this 715.59, so 58. So not very far away. Either way, that could be support area for us. Breaking that level brings us back to around the 714.62. So if Meta is something that you trade today, those are possible areas of rejection. Y'all know I say possible. Why? Because in this market, anything is possible. Nothing is guaranteed, right? So we are looking at AMD. We closed at 134.80. It too seems to be moving sideways. We found support here at 136.83. Resistance was here at 137.23. We see that we've tested that area. Now we broke through that. That 200 EMA was a resistance area for us. We got rejected here, only to see where the trouble places, right? So it seems like we had trouble here at the 137.45. Now, should we break that 137.70 and breaking that level somewhere around the 137.83, breaking that 138.14. Should we break that level, 138.60, and again here at 138.78, should we break that 139.11, breaking that 139.11 for AMD today, we could have trouble again around 139.54, and again here at 139.97. So those are possible areas of rejection for AMD as of now. Now the support places back to the downside. Let's see, under 136.83, which we've been here, right? So breaking that level, 136.58, again here at 136.13, breaking that 135.85, and if we break that level, that is where the ATR trailing stop is forming. Should we break that, we could very well have support again, 135.54, and breaking that level, 135.15. Should we break the 135.15, y'all see price was gathered in this area here around the 134.52. I need to mark that 134.52 for AMD. It could be a support area for us. Should we break that, we could very well come back to around the 134.15, and if we break that level, 133.81. So if you're trading AMD, those are possible areas of support and resistance, and y'all know I say possible because I say it so often, y'all. In this market, anything is possible. We do have a few inside day candles. Cisco, CSCO, being one of those. Should we break above $69.31, upside target $69.48. Now to the downside, should we break under 68.60, we have a downside target for Cisco at 68.17. And let's go see how much Cisco normally moves per day. It moves normally $1.01 per day. That is the ATR, which is the average true range of the stock. So if Cisco is something that you trade, it is an inside day candle. EQT is also an inside day candle. Looks like we've already reached that target for today. Let's see, the trigger was 56.28, target 56.41. We've made a high of 56.75, so we've already reached that upside target. Now, can we move to the downside? Absolutely. To the downside, should we break under 54.74, downside target 54.66. So EQT is also an inside day candle. Looks like Microsoft, MSFT, is also an inside day candle above 498.79, upside target $500.24. Now to the downside, under 495.09, we have a downside target of 493.46. So Microsoft is an inside day candle. Let's see, Z or Zillow, yes, is an inside day candle above 72.82. We have an upside target 73.13. Now to the downside, under 71.51, we have a downside target of 71.25. So Z or Zillow is an inside day candle. So if that is something that you trade, y'all know I say trade carefully. So let's look at NVDA today just to see where we are. It looks like we've made a high here that I need to make sure that I get right. So we closed at 158.24. It looks as if we made a pre-market high, 159.85. Looks like we've been finding support somewhere around this area, 159.39. So trouble places back to the upside. We will need to get back above the 159.48. We could still have trouble somewhere around the 159.63. And if we break that, something stopped us here twice, this candle and this candle. So definitely need to watch somewhere around the 159.77. Should we break that, the 159.85 or 159, yes, 159.85 is within reach. Now, looks like we're getting rejected here, so I say it, y'all, often, anything is possible, right? So should we break under this 159.35 area, we could very well come back to around 159.08, and as we see, that's where our 220 EMA is as of now. Breaking that level, we can come back to, let's say, around the 158.99, breaking that 158.72, breaking that level, the ATR trailing stop is at the 158.46 as of right now. Breaking that level, it seems like we can come back to the 158.09. I'm going to see if I can mark that because it's just a lot of jumbled up type. And I try to go to where the price is mostly, right? Where the candle touches. When I create this line, how many times is it, touching this line? 158. So we have a few candles here and somewhere here. So that 158 area could be a support area for us, but it looks like it is more so at this line here, which is the 157.81. So I need to remove this one. And that's exactly how I just, simple to me, it's support and resistance, figuring out what held us up at that area. So we did have a few places here, but we also had a few places here. So those are possible areas of support for NVIDIA as of right now. So let's go back under the 158.46, which is the ATR trailing stop. And if I was to mark that, you know, we see price held us up here. That indicator let us know that. So under this level, we could very well come back to around the 158.31. Should we break that level here, we mark the 158, under the 158, 157.81, and it should we break that level, 157.66. So if you're trading NVIDIA today, those are possible areas of support. Again, not financial advice. Now breaking this 157.68 area, let me make sure I have that right, 157.66. Should we break that area, 157.38 could be a support place for us. Now, again, that is the 200 EMA. Should we break that, we could very well come back to 157.02. So, y'all, this is what I see when I look at the market. If you're trading NVIDIA, I say trade carefully. If you're trading anything today, I say trade carefully. There's so many different ways to make money in this market. And again, and what's challenging is trying to figure out the strategy that works best for you and to have the discipline to execute your plan, you know, get in at the right time and out at the right time. So again, I hope that everyone have a very profitable and a very, very productive day today. If you could, please like, share, comment, subscribe. Y'all, we learn and we grow together. So with that being said, be blessed as well as a blessing unto others. Until next time.